What is? What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As promised, I am sorry I'm a little bit of late. Actually, I'm not sorry. I apologize that I am a little bit of late. Little bit late yesterday. If you got a chance to look at the little short that we created, had a little bit of things to do to get going. And so we were late, and actually we were actually an hour late today. It was supposed to be at 12, but it is now at 1 p.m. But you know what? Regardless, we are here back in the office, ready to do these live streams for you guys. I'm actually going to pull up my forum. There's been tons of responses on that forum. I'm going to give you some information, answer some of those questions live on the live stream. Also, if you're tuning in, make sure that you drop your comment in the chat box because we are ready and willing to answer all of your questions just as soon as they come in. I am Grim from WKU Consulting, and without any further ado, let us go ahead and dive right on in to the content. Yo, let me know how you guys are doing out there and where you're hailing from. I know some of you guys are clear across different parts of the country and in some cases across different parts of the world. So that is super exciting. And just a little heads up, yesterday we entered into some talks. We had 2 business meetings. One of the people was in North Carolina. They are looking to set up an HHC and a Delta 8 conversion laboratory. So we're going to do everything that we can to get them set up and established with that, kind of start getting their laboratory build outs in process. So we're still in how this always goes is there's a contract that you fill out, consultation contract that you fill out, and then you start getting invoices. You pay those invoices. We assemble all of your equipment, your laboratory, everything like that. And so it's just in the beginning baby phases, but you can tell they definitely brought on some knowledge bases that they had or had worked with. There was a couple of different chemists. They chose to bring them on and kind of get us to take a look at them, or really just kind of feel us out and see if we knew what we were talking about. So we passed all of those tests with flying colors, and it looks like they are going to go ahead and get ready to move on. So I'm actually going out to North Carolina, and I actually got a soon-ish. I'm not sure. Some of these things, they take 2 or 3 months in the process to get it all going and all of that. So that went well. And then another company that we were talking to, we're actually entering into negotiations with them to help them develop a closed-loop extraction machine that is just going to be A1, guys. And especially, that if I can put my stamp of approval on it and I can do what we're really good at as far as engineering that thing, then I'm super excited for you guys, because after we get that thing engineered, we're going to be able to share that with the public and get a lot of you guys a top of the line closed loop extraction machine that really just doesn't exist. We're constantly having to piece together different things like that. So we're gonna straight up get you that good closed loop system, and it'll be good to engineer that. So once again, it goes through contract finalization, invoicing, all of those things, all the company stuff that I'm really not as excited about until you actually get in there and get to get the engineering done, get the building done, get that laboratory construction done and things like that. So that's what I'm really about. But just so you guys know, we do have some exciting things coming up for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I've gotten a few emails telling people that I'm going to be out in the East Coast. And I had a few people hit me up and be like, hey man, would you be interested in allowing us to come and work for you, and we'll do it just for the expertise? And that got me thinking. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? If maybe that's something that I could offer my subscribers only, because we're thinking about giving back to the community, and naturally these live streams are closed off to subscribers only. That's why if you're not liked and subscribed, definitely hit that up. But I was thinking about doing some sort of job shadowing, and every time we go out to build a laboratory where we're going to be there in person, kind of doing a quick little short like we did and notifying all you guys of the time and place that we'd be there. So if you wanted to, you could come in and you could be able to get real hands-on experience working in a professional extraction laboratory. So I was thinking that might be, I'm talking to some of my guys and seeing if this would be an ethical solution. And maybe that's something that I bring to you guys in the future is just, hey, when there's a new laboratory build out, we'll let you know the time and the place, the country, when to be there. And you guys can come in and you can see how we work as a chemist and how we work as a consultant. And then maybe that'll get you some real hands-on experience that you can start building a resume for, and then maybe get you into the job application. So let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, getting that experience. And we'll just kind of call it, our extraction school, and it'll be for us and the subscribers only, right? So you'll definitely have to be part of the community, but it'll also give me a way to give back to you guys, to where you can gain some real information, some real knowledge. Not that this isn't real information or real knowledge, but a lot of it in our YouTube videos is theory. Some of it is practical application, but being there and seeing hands-on how we build an entire laboratory from start to finish, I think could be cool to get a lot of you guys out there. So we'll think about that. Looks like we've got some things coming in. Salute. I watch your videos every night from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Wow, you've taught me so much and don't even know. Respect. Yeah, man, that really would, man, that blesses me. Thank you very much, Tarek. That blesses me. We have, unfortunately, I cannot pronounce that name, watching from Russia. That's amazing. That is completely amazing. Kenyatta says that I like the build out experience idea. All right, yeah, man. I think that's something that we're gonna start entertaining. Just keep it low key. We'll have to see how that goes over with the new laboratories. Hey, man, I'm bringing like 30 people, so we might not be able to do it. If there's going to be 300-400 people showing up, but you never know. So we might just do a live stream only, and then everybody that sends us an email, we'll give them, or something like that. We'll find a way to whittle it down for the people to be able to get in there, and kind of, we won't freak out those new business owners when we come in, show up with like 200 strong, and be like, hey, we're here to build your laboratory. Maybe that might not be the best idea, but anyway, so we'll definitely, it's in the works, guys. It's in the works. I'm definitely considering it. Just after doing my little short, we got like 3-4 emails, and they were like, yo, that'd be so cool if we could like come and check that out. And then I was like, you know what? I do not see why that wouldn't be possible. So we got it in the works. We're going to try to get that situated and see if we can offer that for you guys. All right, check this out. And like I said, speaking of which, like, subscribe to the content. Straight up, turn those bell button notifications on, because these live streams are coming out to subscribers only. And also, if we do that idea like we were telling you, then it's definitely going to be from a subscriber basis. So here you can see, 134 responses this week and I'm not going to dox all of their emails. Sorry, I didn't realize all their emails were pulling up. But what I have here is a bunch of different questions that people ask me. And then, if you don't know about the form response, then in every single video in the description box, you can see a form that you can go online and you can begin to fill that out. That just kind of helps me learn a little bit more about you, and then be able to give you that free consultation if in fact you need. So I just wanted to go through all of these. I respond to email, so I don't know, there's a lot of people that never get back after the first email is sent. I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's some people that do, but I'm always responding. Like, to every one of these questions, I respond every single time. And then you can see 93% say that they are willing to invest in their future. And there's 6% that is not willing to invest in your future. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not even going to send that form response if you're not willing to invest in your future, right? You got to be willing to invest in your future in order for me to be willing to invest in your future. So I just wanted to go over a couple of these responses. Like, here we have, what do you want to learn? And I got, how to turn a yellow substance into a white or clear substance. Well, that's super, super interesting. We can definitely teach you how to do that. So we just want to talk about washing and pH control. When you're talking about turning a yellow substance into a white or clear substance, I'm going to assume that you are talking about cannabis oil. And so in order to change, get that clear cannabis oil pre-distillation, you're just going to go through a few things. And we definitely have a video that you can go check out. It's how to make clear first pass distillate. And if you watch that, that is going to give you a lot of the information that I'm about to start rattling off here. But so basically what you want to do is you want to redissolve your cannabis distillate or your cannabis oil in heptane. And then you want to begin to swing the pH and wash it. And what I mean by swing the pH and wash it, we want to start by preparing a citric acid and distilled water wash. And we want to wash that. Then we want to get that back to neutral by flushing it with a distilled water wash. And if you don't know what I mean by LLE, I basically mean just throwing it in the glass reactor, allowing it to stir up, and then discharging the aqueous layer after it separates the aqueous from the organic phase. The organic phase being your cannabis oil inside of your solvent, the aqueous phase being the water, and then whatever you added to that. So we want to do a citric acid water wash, and then we'll do a distilled water wash, and then we want to do a sodium bicarbonate wash, which is baking soda, and then we want to wash that, and then do a distilled water wash, and then we want to do a salt water wash, and then another distilled water wash. And after we do those washes and then go in, at that point we can send it through some sort of molecular sieve to strip that moisture out, and then we can go ahead and get into distillation, and that is going to help us get that really clear substance. Now if you wanted to just take delta 9 oil and turn it into clear delta 8, then all you got to do for that is just throw that into your boiling flask with a 10% T41 achromatization clay and distill under normal conditions. After naturally you let it homogenize under heat at 100 degrees Celsius at about 400 RPMs for about 45 minutes, then you can go ahead and ramp up everything 10 degrees by 10 minutes and get that distilled off. Now your first fraction might be a little bit of blue. That's going to be because of the azulene that's in there, but you'll get some clear oil like that as well. So let's see, I want to be prepared for what will be coming to Georgia in the near future. Honestly, I cannot say what I want to learn: how to make money, moreover the process, and how to get on the right path to it. So I definitely encourage anybody that doesn't want to spend a bunch of money with me, and I highly encourage, if you want to spend a bunch of money with me, please, by all means, spend a bunch of money with me. But I definitely want to encourage, it looks like my face is blocked from the subscribe button, so let's just go ahead and drop that right on over here. So there you go. Now I'm not in the subscribe button. It's not in my face anymore. So definitely, if you're just looking for a little bit of information that you can get in with a lot of theoretical and chemical application, then I would definitely consider looking at Extraction Builders Pro. Now you can go to canalabsconsulting.com, which is our website, and up in the top right corner you're going to see a little bar, and let me just go through that for you real quick. Let's see, there we go. Here's the website. We'll pull that up. That's my smart draw. I use that to engineer all these things. So anyway, here's the website here that you're looking at, and this is going to be my website. We build pharmaceutical GMP laboratories, blah, 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 blah. But you can go up here to courses, and what that course is going to do is redirect you to a YouTube webinar, which is going to allow you to be able to get in there and get access to that Extraction Builders Pro. Now that is going to allow you to really get a bunch of information that's kind of key as far as covering the entire extraction and post-production process. Now that's going to help you learn some things, especially if it's just coming to Georgia. Now another thing that might help you, especially if you're just coming, if it's, you're getting ready for it to come to Georgia, is definitely if there's any availability, like we were talking about earlier, to get your hands-on experience, then that can help you too. You definitely just want to build a great resume and get as much experience and as much learning done as possible. Make sure you're not learning the wrong things, so you definitely have to have a trustworthy source of information. Not saying that I'm the only one, of course, I would naturally be biased in that respect, but just saying that you definitely want to get learning in. That way when it is ready to come to your state, then you can get in there and kind of position yourself or leverage yourself for a position in the company where you can just gain more and more and more experience. Let's see, what do we got here? CBD distillate to isolate to delta 8 conversion. Okay, let's just go over that real quick. I mean, that's a lot of information, but I can definitely rattle that off for you. What do you want to learn? He wants to learn, or she, I'm really not sure actually, CBD distillate to isolate to delta 8 conversion. Well, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to start out with 70% CBD distillate. Then you're going to go into your glass reactor. You are going to dissolve your CBD distillate into a solvent called pentane. After that, you're going to look for what's called supersaturation. So that means that I need to heat up my distillate and or pentane pentane to within 5 degrees boiling point of the pentane. After I do that, I want to turn my stir motor on and get it all homogenized, super saturated. I want to effectively homogenize that CBD distillate with that pentane. Then I can go to my chiller and decrease by 10 degrees Celsius every 10 degrees Celsius until negative 30 degrees Celsius is reached. So that means I'm probably starting off, if I'm within 5 degrees, I'm probably starting off at 30 degrees Celsius. Then I'll go down to 20, then I'll go down to 10, then I'll go down to 0, then I'll go down to negative 10, then I'll go down to negative 20, then I go down to negative 30. And at that point, I'm going to stay at negative 30 for about 35 minutes to an hour. And that is going to allow me to crash out my CBD distillate. I will begin to notice crystal formulation happening, right? So at that point, I want to discharge my mother's milk and wash my crystals. Now, I want to wash my crystals with super chilled pentane because I do not want to redissolve those crystals. So it's good to have a filter reactor for this type of method. Once I get my crystals and I've discharged my mother's milk and sent that to the rotovap to be recovered, I can then begin to redissolve my CBD isolate now in heptane, and then I'm just going to add a 10% PTSA. I'm going to add, sorry, I don't know why I said 10%. I was thinking about T41 there for a second, but I just want to add a 5% PTSA to that heptane, which is going to be at a 3-to-1 heptane to CBD isolate ratio. Dissolve that CBD isolate back into that heptane and add that PTSA, and I'm just going to allow it to homogenize there and boost up that temperature to about 40 degrees Celsius and just allow it to homogenize and convert right there. Then I'm just going to go through my LLE under normal conditions, and we just covered that in the back part of this video. If you go back, rewind a little bit and watch that. I want to do a citric acid wash, and then a sodium bicarb wash, and then a distilled water wash, and then a salt water wash, and then another distilled water wash. At that point, when I discharge my aqueous layer from my organic phase, I can take my organic phase to my distillation system, run it and distill it, and I will end up with high quality, high purity Delta 8 distillate from CBD distillate starting material. Brad says, I would like to present the nano filtration to my CEO. Most likely need to see the bare minimum ethanol separation with fats with lipid separation until we can purchase the 75K unit. Does the same company sell? Okay, so if you're talking about the one video that we did where we mentioned molecular forces, they are native out here to Oregon, and I always like to kind of boost up any and everybody around me, especially if you're local. They will not sell the same setup, but look here, Brad, what I'm telling you is what you can do is you only need a few different things. You need a column, which can be anything from a 6-inch column to a 3-inch column, mostly by 36 inches is going to be the length, and then you just want to put your nanomembrane in there. Now you can use a roughing pump to pull that through that nanomembrane, and that is going to get you close enough. Now imagine that you could put everything together for approximately $10,000. There's another video that I put out that you can go and watch that it says, it shows you the system that I actually put together for about 10 grand, and you can kind of go through that setup and look at that mechanical setup. That way you can pitch it to your CEO, or in all, matter of the word, just go ahead and show them that video and be like, hey man, we need one of these, we got to build one of these, and that will enable you to kind of get it in building mode. That's what I would recommend. But also, if you want the ease of use, just see if you can convince your CEO to go ahead and get that 75 grand unit. Get that big boy. Let everything get in ease of access there, ease of use. Just my two thoughts. So pretty simple to put together. You go back and watch No More Winterization, or whatever that video was called. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and try to find it for you here. I believe the name of that video that you're looking for is going to be Nanotech, No More Winterization, CRC, terpene, blah, blah, blah. So you'll find a bunch of different information right here in this video, and what's going on? That will enable you to get going in the right direction, I think. Another person says, what do you want to learn? He wants to learn, or she wants to learn, how to get hired. Oh, well, number one, this is what I like to do. Check this out right here, guys. I'm gonna give you guys the deets. Indeed.com. Check this out. I'm finna show you right here. Whoa, it's taking a lot of my internet connection just then. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. I am actually broadcasting out of Germany right now. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Okay, unfortunately I can't show you, because if I was to turn off my VPN, then that means that I would drop the stream, probably, as it tried to reconnect, so I definitely don't want to do that. Oh, his first question is where do we get it? Yeah. Okay, where do you get the nanomembrane from? So what you're going to be looking for is Google desalination, nanofiltration membrane, and that'll get you going. And then the next thing that you need to do is just find the size that you are looking for. Now, if you Google mechanical roughing pump, you can come up with all of that information with a simple Google search, right? That's going to be super easy for you to come up with. But instead of looking for a cannabis nano filtration membrane, what you want to do is look for that desalination. These are big in the desalination. So I'm just going to show you. If you go here to Indeed. What is this? UK? Oh man, this is jobs finding. That's pretty funny. German people are tight, man. So if you want to, what I will do in order to find some new clients, and this is something that I did back in the past, right? And it worked great. What you can do is you can go up there and you can search cannabis laboratory, cannabis CEO. What that's going to do is pull upon page 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 of people that have that somewhere in their link, their bio description, all type of things, right? You're going to just find those keywords, but you're going to find those people. The next thing that I would do is formulate a note. Whenever you invite somebody to be your friend or be your colleague, you can formulate a note. And if you formulate a note, you could just copy and paste that as you invite. You'll probably get 100 pages of 100 people each. That's 10,000 people that you can just sit there and request to be their friend, and then add that little note and just say, hey man, I'm looking to get hired in the cannabis industry. Do you got any opportunities for me? Or hey man, I'm looking to establish some relationships in the cannabis industry. Or hey, I'm an aspiring chemist and I'm hoping to just formulate some different strategies here. And you can start gaining a bunch of people where you can look into their company background and you'll be able to get hired that way. And that works all over the world. Another place that I used to do that, how to get hired from, that's this question right here, in case you were wondering. And that is I would use Indeed to also kind of leverage myself to get in contact with as many people as possible. That way I would be able to start getting some jobs going, and talking to people. And that's one of the ways that I built a couple of different businesses now, with not having any, because what you want to talk about is generating some steam, especially if you're talking about building a company from scratch. Well, the first thing is, who are you? What do you do? How do we know? What are your credentials? How do we see anything? And a lot of people, they want to see all of that. Well, if you're building a new company, unfortunately, you do not have all of that information. So the first thing that you need to do whenever you're building a new company, and this can be applied to if you're just becoming a new extraction technician, the very first thing that you want to do is build a relationship database around you. So Indeed and what is the other one? LinkedIn are two great ways to establish those types of relationship, because you can just begin building relationships with other people in the industry actually free of charge. And this is a lot of ways that you can start to develop those relationships, begin to talk to people, and then get a couple of those people to try to get you hired in a job to gain experience, different things like that. But at least you'll begin to talk to people, and that will allow you to build a network over time. For Indeed, or LinkedIn, I think we have approximately 1,500 connections, right? Because we're very specific and precise about who we want to add, because we only want to network with a select group of people, like people that we can contribute to and people that will contribute to us. So a symbiotic relationship that we want to build there on LinkedIn. So that'll also enable me, like let's say that I'm talking to a client. Well, if I'm talking to a client, they're like, man, I love the idea. I would love to build a laboratory, but unfortunately, I just do not have any investors or any capital raised that will allow me to get this, $1.5 million that it's going to take to raise this laboratory. Well, since I have formulated these relationships over time, what I can do is put two people in contact with one another. I know a couple of angel investors, and I know a guy that's looking to build a laboratory. And so for completely free of charge, I would just go ahead and bridge that connection between the two and see if they can work out some sort of synergy. If they can, naturally, who do you think that they're going to choose to build their laboratory in the future? Well, it's probably going to be me, because I was willing to give, and in giving I will probably end up receiving. Now, do I give to receive? No, I give for the sake of giving, because I am a giver by nature. However, receiving does happen. It's almost it's a simultaneous reaction, right? As you give, you receive, and that's a simultaneous one action there. So by building those relationships and then facilitating them and then being able to connect other people all around you, you can begin to generate a little bit of steam, no matter if you're a business operator or if you are just trying to become an extraction technician and get your foot in the door and gain some experience. This is a good way to start doing it. Maybe you want to work colloquially with other laboratories in your area. So naturally you would begin to search those on people and add those friends and then start building those relationships with them. So you can generate a little bit of steam there. And that's one of the ways that I would suggest that, especially if you're fresh, when we're looking back on this form, if we were super fresh, then I would definitely suggest that that's the way you go about how to get hired. All right, it looks like I'm going to do one more one more question. And this one, let's talk about this one. This one says, I'm interested in Delta 9 conversion. Of course, aren't we all? Aren't we all interested in Delta 9 conversion? Okay, well, let's talk about Delta 9 conversion for a minute. Well, you can start from CBD isolate and do much of the same thing. So as much as we were just talking about doing Delta 8 in the previous video, and in the previous video, in the previous segment of this video, we were talking about being able to convert Delta 8 from CBD isolate. Now, the exact same way can happen with Delta 9, but there's going to be a little bit of a change. There's going to be a little bit of a change in the solvent that you're using to process. So when you're doing heptane and reintroducing that for the conversion of Delta 8, you are going to use heptane, but it's going to be in the future. What you want to do instead of PTSA and heptane is you want to use ethanol and hydrochloric acid. And there's a bunch of people that will tell you that this is not an ethical method. And I, to you, say that you have no idea what you're talking about, because what happens is a chemical reaction. And what I've learned over the years is that Delta 9 or Delta 8 is a byproduct of Delta 9 synthesis. If you remove all of the moisture from the reaction, what you will end up with is a highly purified, at least 75% plus Delta 9 oil converted from CBD isolate. Now, it will go from CBD to Delta 9 and to Delta 9 and then to Delta 8. So what you can do is you can start that chemical reaction that is going to strip all the moisture out. And that chemical reaction is done with hydrochloric acid and ethanol, even if the hydrochloric acid has a little bit of water in it. So the problem with that is that ethanol is miscible in water. So whenever you begin to do your LLE and wash that acid out and neutralize it, you are going to find that the ethanol will not mix and fall out. So what you're going to have to do is take that ethanol. Now, you did ethanol and hydrochloric acid. You're still going to use a 5% ratio. You're going to do everything the exact same as if you were doing the Delta 8 conversion. You just naturally want to charge with an inert gas, and it's definitely good to put some molecular sieve beads in there. And also the hydrochloric acid with the ethanol is going to do everything that you need to get done to make sure that you decrease the amount of moisture coming into contact with your reaction, because you do not want that moisture to cause you an exorbitant or astronomical amount of Delta 8 conversion. So bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. The next thing that you're going to want to do after you do your exact same process, hit it up to about 50 degrees Celsius and allow that to convert with that hydrochloric acid, then you are going to redissolve. Yes, that's right, I said redissolve or resuspend your organic phase in heptane. So you leave your ethanol, your hydrochloric acid, you leave everything in there, but you can only do this at a smaller scale, because naturally, even if you have a 100-liter glass reactor, then you are going to need to leave room for the addition of the ethanol, heptane, and all of those other catalysts and everything, the sieve beads and everything that you're going to be doing. So you're never going to get the throughput up to the point where you used to be able to with Delta 8. However, what you can do is you can go ahead and reintroduce that heptane into that ethanol and hydrochloric acid. What that's going to do is create that organic layer separation out into the heptane, and that means that when you begin to wash with your LLE or sodium bicarbonate, everything's going to be the same. Citric acid wash, sodium bicarbonate, distilled water followed by salt water, and then more distilled water, and then make sure that you're testing your pH. You want that to be approximately 6.7 on the litmus test, or if you have a infrared, sorry, didn't mean to say infrared, if you've got a laser pH tester or something like that, then that works wonders too. Now your organic phase is suspended in your, you guessed it, in your heptane. And so your ethanol is going to wash out with the water and all of your acid that you are using there. Now, in order to get your ethanol back That's the problem, right? It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to just take that to the rotary evaporator and evaporate your ethanol out of your water. It is a bit of a pain in the butt. However, it totally can be done. It totally can be done. It totally can be done. And that way you've neutralized your acid. Now you've just got an ethanol and water combination. So you need to get your ethanol back because you don't want to spend a bunch of money on that. No, sir, you do not. Now, using 100% pure ethanol is the best. So organic corn ethanol or sugar ethanol is the best for this. You do not want to use denatured ethanol, and I do know that if you are just wasting that ethanol every time for your conversion, then it is going to be a little bit difficult for you to calculate the cost associated with that. But I am here to tell you that you follow those exact same procedures and then distill, and you are going to end up with Delta 9 oil. And it looks like that is it for our live stream today. It has been a blessing, a privilege, nay, an honor to be able to consult and teach with you guys today. Guys, I'm taking 4th of July weekend off. I'm grabbing the boat. I'm getting out on the river. I'm going to be sunning, fishing, boating. Yes, sir. We're going in, so I'm not going to be here over the weekend. Oh, no, look at that. We got some political... Nate C. says, with all of the talk of a recession and Roe versus Wade getting overturned, do you believe the cannabis industry will face more trouble from regulators, or will the cannabis industry save us from a recession? Check it out, Nate. What I do believe firmly is that the only thing with the power to save is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So I don't know if the cannabis industry is going to save, quote unquote, anybody from anything. However, if what I do think is that legalizing cannabis is definitely going to help a lot with the voters, because you will find a 51%, now we're about to get super political, but about 51% of people that voted for left last term are now leaning towards voting at least in the middle or far right, and they are much more ready to handle a Republican candidate, just for the simple fact of the matter that Democrats have made it very, very hard to purchase and have dropped us in probably one of the largest recessions since the Great Depression, right? So one of the ways that you can alleviate a little bit of that stress, especially with the voters, is to go ahead and legalize cannabis. Guess what? That's going to get a lot of people more on board, because we all know that the Republicans are going to do everything that they can to try to fight us being able to pass cannabis legislation for whatever reason. I do not know, probably because they're still trying to keep their hands in every single pot that you can. The one thing that you can say about the far right is they are all about their money. Not that every part of the global elites aren't all about the money. They probably all are. I think money is the motivation, and money is the driving factor behind all of them. However, if you wanted to relieve a little bit of that pressure and especially get some of those voters to swing back over to you, then I definitely think that legalizing cannabis is definitely on the table, especially with midterms coming up and you being faced with a re-election. President Joe Biden, I am talking to you. If you want to get some of those voters back on board, then I would highly advocate for you legalizing cannabis, because that's definitely going to swing some people your way. Believe it or not. Now, as far as recession is concerned, does this taxable revenue have the opportunity, the plausibility, yes, the ability probably to help pull us out of the huge multi-trillion-dollar deficit that the United States economy is in? Yeah, it's definitely a start. It is definitely a start. So, I do think that it will. And guys, don't worry. Cannabis is getting legalized. Straight up. Cannabis is getting legalized. The recession is going to start coming down. Let me tell you something. I was born in 1990. And I will tell you that from my birth, I've probably been faced with at least 6 to 7 life-changing end-of-the-world events. And there's one thing that I've learned as my 32 years of being alive on this planet and a United States citizen, is that Americans are resilient. They are super resilient. You can try to break the minds and the hearts of the people, but you will never be able to. Never. And not only here, but in the rest of the world, you will find that the hearts and the minds of the people are something to be contended with, and that hope is very, very hard to kill. It is very, very hard to kill it. So yes, you can see the pressure at the pump. Yes, you can see the pressure at your, local grocery store. Yes, you can see the pressure in the supply chain and even in your business and in your bottom line. But I promise you one thing that I know, at least from being here alive on this earth, that we are still one nation under God. And us, the people, we the people, are very strong and very resilient. And we will claw out of this recession. We will survive any and everything that is thrown at us, because America America is the greatest country in the world, not because of the country and because of the politics, but because each and every person and their belief in freedom, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and justice for all. Amen. So that is something that I firmly believe in, and I firmly believe that we have the ability to claw out of this. This has been tough, with COVID and everything, and it's just, gosh, the war for the people's minds has been intense. However, we are an unbreakable people, and we stand unified front with everyone else that represents freedom, wherever, whatever nation that you are in the rest of the world. They might try to conquer us, but they will not succeed. And I promise you that. I promise you that. Mark my words, in about 5 years' time. But I bet in the next year or so, we're completely out of this. And then, yes, you can better believe that cannabis is definitely going to help. You're talking about like 500-600 million in taxable revenue every year by every state. Like, dude, of course that's an ethical solution. Like, we should all be writing our senators right now and being like, dude, do you want to claw out of, paying like where I'm at right now, it's $6 at the pump. Wow. How about we start getting that taxable revenue and then maybe force the global elites to start profiting off of our detriment? Like, come on, dudes, that's wrong. Where's your soul? But anyway, that's my rant for a while. Peace from Australia, Monkey Jenkins. You too, man. Peace from the United States. Peace to wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. I love you guys, man. Watching and being a part of your growth and development. Literally, it is the most rewarding thing. It is the most rewarding thing. I'm telling you, that probably I've ever done in business so far is being able to help out my community and seeing the people that come in and are like, dude, we just learned so much from you. Like, dudes, that's like, I'm super invested in every single one of you. I literally say this from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, is I am interested in your success, and there is nothing that I would like more. Why do you think that we do a YouTube channel giving away, multi-million-dollar secrets that we've been using to make money for, 10 years? It's because I literally want you to succeed. I think the pie is big, and if you can get you a slice of it and I can do my part to help you get it, I'm down to do it. So, see you in the